Now, when you press the 4 key, you get this nice design. Let's go over the code. Some footnotes for illegal macro section. Disallowed variable, I made a mistake. Shorthand macros for float32, unsigned integer, and uniform. We're declaring a variable called dtick in our shader, which is the exact same name as the variable on the CPU side. We are inside of render pipeline 4, the flashing screen shader that I just showed you. This is the actual logic for creating that gradient quad grid. We don't have enough time to go over the math. You can pause here if you want to transcribe it. This is the active render pipeline index. We're going to use this as an index accessor into this, etc. Therefore, we don't have to keep an active program ID, an active vertex ID, active frag ID. We don't have to do that. We can just keep this, and it'll be good enough. Here's where we're loading a program ID and then keeping track of which program ID was loaded by just keeping track of the active pipeline right here. And you can see that we inputted a pipeline index here and got the program ID out. And now because we are storing it, we can replicate that behavior. This is the ArtGirl render pipeline load function, loading a certain render pipeline. This is the tick function that executes once per logic frame, shorthand reference to the WebGL context. And here is where we update the shader uniform on the GPU. All we got to do is get the address of the dtick variable on the GPU and then upload the CPU value to the GPU. That's all we're doing. It's pretty simple. A clusterfuck of mistakes. Cosmetic. Footnotes. You have been here. If you want to see me cover it a little bit slower, you can go here. It's all the same video numbers. You've been on video number 86. If you'd like to check out the code, you can go right here. It's a snapshot for the end of this tutorial. Like, subscribe, and send me money in the mail.